Is content created by AI ready for center stage or still stuck in the rehearsal room? In this Counsel Cast Chambers episode, we're revisiting the best moments from our conversation with Max Gutsche, an expert in AI tools and digital marketing strategy. We're diving into where AI-generated content really shines, where it still falls flat, and what law firms need to know before letting a robot write their next blog post or client email. From the promise of efficiency to the risks of generic content, Max shares a sharp insight on how to use AI with intention, so you stay ahead of the curve without losing your voice or credibility. Let's get into the highlights. This is Counsel Cast Chambers, the best of Counsel Cast re-examined. I think a lot of people just keep coming back to ChatGPT just because it's the one everybody's talking about. So let's start first, Max, with a little bit of background on just content generation in general with AI and how it works and some of the benefits of how a law firm could use it.
So I would say I could give you a lot of general knowledge. I would say a very contrarian view on it. So
oh, good.
So,
I love that.
So there is a very easy way for you to create content in ChatGPT. You just need to get a few prompts. You can get very generic Twitter threads out, microblogs, short blogs, and whatever. You can either, as a lawyer, there's it read probably every case on the planet. It could probably even help you ideate some cool ideas. So that's clear. So we can definitely do text-based things in ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E, and so on. That's the graphic design, image generation. It's not really graphic design part. Super easy, but also not 100% sophisticated. And then you have these more I would say, these are the more advanced use cases that I find. They are a lot playing around. So you have that Hey Gen where you can create an avatar of yourself and it talks. But I'm, for example, I like to record myself. So I don't really have a use case ever for this because maybe if I have anxiety and I don't want to record myself, but other than that, I can't really see why I should spam the internet with hundreds of recordings of AI with myself. So we have kind of these. These three big buckets. And then there's also a bunch of tools that can just help you with things. So transcription services. Our transcription service is insane. I don't know what the startup is doing because it's literally an API, but the quality is crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that. I'm seeing that all over the place, transcription quality. Even so, I use Riverside. I know you do too for this podcast. And Riverside has this really amazing recent update where after we're done recording, I can go in and see the entire transcript of this episode and pull out social media clips word by word. And it's getting it very, very accurate. And that's just one example of that. And so that's just becoming standard all over the place. Obviously, YouTube has a similar thing, always has, and it hasn't always been as good as it is. I think we've all been watching YouTube videos and seen where they try to guess what a person is saying, and it's totally wrong, and to a point where it's funny. So you mentioned that you're a little contrarian on this, and I love this idea of where's the controversy here? But why is it so? There's those kind of very basic buckets where you can get sort of ideation going with your content, but where does the controversy come in? Where does it become problematic?
So I wouldn't say, my contrarian view is basically based on what I see in the market. So VCs as well as startups pouring insane amount of money into generating stuff out of thin air. And that works really well if you're a direct to consumer company that launches the 800th coffee brand, sustainable coffee brand or whatever. Super easy, fast moving consumer goods, also great. But what I'm seeing is, and I'm playing around, for example, with programmatic SEO, so I can create lots of articles that actually help people, is 90% of all people are focused on this. So what is the newest tool that helps me to write a blog post faster? And I'm I already have so much good content in my company, on my podcast, webinars, and sales is asking for more content. And this deep knowledge, just taking it, reformatting it, and then having much more content is something that especially works, for example, for lawyers, financial advisors, people like me. I'm like a product manager, tech guy. Like our knowledge is very deep, and the stories, decades of experience, not in my case, but like a lawyer that has insane stories to tell about cases and how law is changing. All of these things we could take out and package into super cool content, and this will never be happen. Or like you can do it with ChatGPT, but you need to record something, put the transcript into ChatGPT, and then prompt around.